regular meeting for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Would we all please rise and pay respects to the flag? Oh, there it is.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Noting of the roll, please.
Noted. Trustees Payne and Gold are absent.
I did receive notification from trustees Noel and trustee Payne that they will not be available for tonight's meeting due to some family business out of town. So with that, we have a quorum. Number 4, approval of the agenda. Yes, Clerk Wright.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the following amendments. Item 8A and B, moving to the consent agenda. Item 10A, correcting the numbering to be 67A.035, and to move item 14I up to item 14A, appointment of deputy supervisor, and to add item 14J, committee assignments.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Clerk Wright, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 5, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion for the consent agenda as amended.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me, thank you.
Bless you.
Presumed to.
Here we go. Item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Board, public can come up and speak now if there are items you want to talk about in the township that are not on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on. Board of Trustees comments. We'll start with Trustee Charles.
All right, let's make this meeting last a little bit longer. Couple things on the Oxford Assistant Youth Assistance Board. We have Youth Recognition Awards event. All board members received the notice about that, just to remind you about nominating a local youth in the Oxford Assistant Townships. Secondly, we have on December 4th at 6 o'clock at Meyer, the Shop with a Hero event going on, which has been hugely successful. And a third question, I have a question, I guess, at this time, about 921 Canview. I had some questions about what that means when I went through the board packet.
Sure. Mateo, would you address the 921 Tanview, please?
Yeah, Mateo Pastelacqua, Carlisle Workman Associates with the planning consultants for the township. Yeah, so we do zoning reviews, for projects within the township, be it decks or additions or new construction, whatever it may be. And sometimes those require an inspection for us to physically go out and confirm some items. With 921 Tanview, there were some issues with both their application and some after-the-fact projects that they pursued. So this last round of billing that I believe you're referring to was just us closing that out from a final inspection based on a new survey that the property owner provided us.
Is that zone commercial or residential? I'm a little bit confused about
Residential.
Residential.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
I told you it'd be easy.
Okay. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, we just went over last Tuesday a monumental election, and I just want to give the board and the audience a little bit of an update here. Oxford Township has, at that point, 18,340 registered voters. Of that amount, we had a turnout of 14,480, which equated to a 79% turnout. Of that, we had 2,512 voters voted early. We had 6,229 absent voter ballots. So that equated to 8,741 people that voted absentee or early voted. And the in-person in the precincts was 5,739 with 3,860 people that didn't bother to vote. So with that, we're pleased with the turnout. It wasn't 100% like we like theoretically, but that's what's going to happen in an election like this. Oakland County was approximately 72%, so we as a township beat that number. So that's a congratulations to you as the voters that turned out. The precincts were very well behaved, and there was an influx early on as usual that people want to vote, get to work, and vice versa. When they get home, they want to vote maybe after work on that. Just a couple updates if you haven't heard. The fire millage did pass. The safety path millage failed. The trash hauler ordinance failed. And Oakland County Parks passed as well. Also, I just want to give a big thank you out to my staff, Susan McCullough, Kelly Richter, Noble McCullough, that worked super hard on this election to keep it safe and secure and accurate, and I can't give them enough thanks there. And also to the 67 people that volunteered their time to come out and man the precincts on election day. So that's an update. If there's any more information you want on the election, feel free to get hold of my office, where we're happy to give you what we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
Nothing at this time.
Trustee Colvin?
I will just let everyone know, Soup and Sweet Stroll is the first Friday in December. So if you want to come down and have some soup and sweets in the village of Oxford and enjoy the restaurants, contact the DDA.
Thank you. I'll see you there.
Yep, we'll be served with something.
The only comment I wanted to make was, I think today they paved a portion of the Dunlap where they cut out for the sewer line. The sewer line is complete. Pretty much, I'd say 98% remediated along the line. The sewage is flowing in that new line that used to go into the village line, so we've accomplished that task. And we're waiting on the grinder pump in Jim's report, but I won't take any of that. All right, moving on. Item number 9, public hearing.
I moved up to the public hearing at 6:37 p.m. to discuss the establishment of the Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake Special Assessment District. Hear objections to the assessments to be levied and to correct the errors on the special assessment roll.
I second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Okay, members of the audience, if you'd like to speak at this time about the placement of the taxation on the rolls for the Cedar, Long, or Tan Lake Special Assessment District, the board will address your comments. Seeing none? Well,
You want him? I mean, I'll Hi, Karina Hart, 520 Tanview. Objection to the, or opposed to the, is it the SAD that we're talking about, right?
yes.
SAD.
The Cedar
Are we
Lawn.
doing, yes, on Cedar. Are we doing, are we just saying I object, or we have to have reason? We already said it last time at the first meeting. Are we just repeating that now for you? So it's on record again? Is that what we're doing?
During public comment time, you can tell us anything you want about the placement of your property on the taxation roll for that special assessment district. At the end, we'll address them under trustee comments, but we don't engage during public comment.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I was saying
We
something.
will
about
listen to
it.
your comment.
Okay, thanks for listening. Basically, I think we mentioned this before, the first meeting, that, we mentioned, me and William, my neighbors, about how we opposed to the, weed control, because of the, long-term effects. We understand that we need some kind of management, but, it's been going, I think, 5 to 7 years, and they wanna do another 10 years, and we're thinking maybe, take a little break or less management, maybe see where it is first before we go, cause I've noticed a lot of, yes, reduction in like even the waterfowl, the fish life, and everything seems to be moving. I feel that a lot of vegetation is gone, and the aquatic life also gets affected. And me being on a lake, liking the life of the wildlife out there, I like to see that. So I would like to have that. Some weeds, because they need the weeds to feed. I've ever seen like the swans or the ducks. They're trying to, the little babies come out and they can't hold their breath long to get underwater to eat the weeds. So the parents have to, muddle the weeds up and get the babies to eat on top of the water. And we don't see that, because if there's no weeds, then there's no vegetation for them to eat on. I know there's certain weeds they want to control, but my objection is, can we just take maybe a break and see where the certain weeds are and see what we need to continue on, what we don't need to continue on, to give the lake some time to maybe refresh. I don't know what the biological terms are, but I know unmanaged, it can have severe effects on the water quality, but do we have the water quality results? And we saw that. I don't know where to see that, but anyway, those are my concerns. Again, thank you for listening to my podcast.
Thank you.
I'll also object to that too, because anytime,
Come on, step up to the mic, please.
I'll also object as well, me and my husband. I notice anytime you mess with the ecosystem, it allows invasive species to take over. And that's what we've been seeing, is a lot of invasive weeds coming into our area that weren't there before. We actually had less weeds before we had the SAD, so now it's even getting worse, because these invasive species are actually coming up into our our area and stuff where we swim and stuff. So.
Did you say your name and address?
Oh yes, Elena Fredericks, 408 Tanview Drive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other members of the public like to speak on placement of their property on the Cedar Long Tan Lake Special Assessment District?
I move to close the public hearing, discuss the establishment of the Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake Special Assessment District, hear objections to the assessments to be levied, to correct any errors in the special assessment roll at 6:42 p.m.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 9B, CDBG, suggested funding for 2025.
I move to open the public hearing at 6:43 p.m. to discuss CDBG suggested funding for 2025.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Okay, members of the audience, right now the public hearing is to make suggestions or hear your comments on the allocation of the CDBG suggested funding for 2025. Any members in the audience want to come up to the mic and speak?
I move to close the public hearing to discuss CDBG suggested funding for 2025 at 6:44 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Community Development Block Grant, CDBG. Okay, we'll close that out. First reading. Item 10A, zoning ordinance 67A.035, Article 2 text amendment and addition of article of section 8.13 regarding electric vehicles. Board members, who wants to take this? Name's not on that one, so no one's name.
You want someone just to read it?
I'll take it.
Go ahead, thank you.
Yeah, this is a addition to the zoning ordinance that will address electric vehicles. So there's a lot of definitions that need to be added, and also the addition of a section that will address electric vehicle charging stations, and that'll be all input into the zoning ordinance, possibly on the second reading.
Okay, if there's any questions regarding that, Mateo Pasalacqua, Carlisle Workman is here to answer them. So, board members, do you have any questions? Seeing none,
I move to set a second reading, possible adoption, ordinance 67A.035, the December 11th, 2024, Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting to amend Article 2, definitions, and Article 8, addition of new section 8.13, electric vehicle charging stations, the Charter Township of Oxford zoning ordinance 67A.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 10B, excuse me, zoning ordinance 67A.036, text amendments to Article 18 and to add section 18.6 and section 18.7 to establish criteria zoning ordinance text amendments and zoning map amendments. You want to take that one too?
I can.
Thank you.
This is an amendment to the zoning ordinance that will create the responsibility of the Township Board and the Planning Commission when they address text amendments to the zoning ordinance. So there'll be some criteria in there of like a checklist that we'll have to follow to get those text amendments approved.
Okay, are there any questions?
I move to set a second reading and possible adoption for the 67A.036, December 11th, 2024, Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting to amend Article 18 amendment and to add section 18.6, criteria for amendment of the official zoning map, and section 18.7, criteria for the amendment to the zoning ordinance text to the Charter Township of Oxford zoning ordinance 67A.
I'll second.
A motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Okay, item 11, the Fire Department. Chief, 11A, appointment of Supervisor Curtis to the Union Negotiating Committee.
Oh, boy. First and foremost, if I can deviate for 1 second to just take a moment to thank everybody. On behalf of the fire department, I wrote a statement I'd like to just share if it's all right.
Sure.
I wanted to thank you, thank the community, the citizens of this community, for the support in passing of our millage. While the measure passed, I realized that there were many votes cast against it, and that's okay, that's part of democracy. I can appreciate the difficulty in voting for items that cost us when inflation is taking a toll on everybody. There is no perfect outcome when it comes to voting, and because there's always a winner and a loser, and sometimes you don't get what you had hoped for. However, I want to let everybody involved know that we are here for your needs. We will continue to strive to provide the best emergency services we can while being fiscally responsible with the funds our millage provides us. We will continue to do our best to be good stewards of those funds that we use to manage this organization that is the Oxford Fire Department, while taking care of you and your needs. Once again, thank you for your continued support, and that's to you, the electeds, to members of the village, or residents of the village, residents of the township. I just wanted to make sure that people know we do appreciate being supported. So,
Thank you, Chief. Item 11A,
I move to appoint Supervisor Jack Curtis to the Fire Union Negotiation Committee effective immediately.
I'll second that.
okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Charles. Any questions? I guess I'd make one point. Thank you, Margie Payne, for all the work you did to bring the negotiation to this point. And, I gladly accept the opportunity to work with the committee. Roll call?
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 11B, purchase of air packs.
yes, so our air cylinders that are part of our self-contained breathing apparatus that we wear on our backs to go into a fire. They have lifespans, and our current packs were purchased through a FEMA grant that we received years ago. And we had applied for an additional grant. We hoped that by applying as a regional grant with a host of other departments within Oakland County that we will maybe qualify. That grant was denied. As a result, we also found out that in the state of Michigan for this year's grants, there were only 2 grants awarded statewide out of the hundreds of grants that were applied. And the grants application process just opened this week, and yeah, we're back in the game. We're writing again for grants for 25. But in the interim, we had planned for replacing our entire system. The air cylinders that we wear, again, have a 15-year lifespan. Right now, 50 of ours are expiring. We have another 55 that will be expiring in 4 years. We have a need for replacement of our air fill station, and we have this, in this process, in our capital improvement plan, we actually, while we budgeted to replace the whole thing, we also were trying to get by with the grants as best we could. We did get some good news that we found that the supplier that for our SCBA's will continue to make parts for the current system we do have, so we don't have to replace the actual system and the actual harnesses and the masks that we wear. So that was a good thing. So then we reached out to the various vendors. There are only 2 vendors in the state of Michigan that provide our cylinders for our packs. We received prices, and then I reached out to other departments within the county and found that if we submitted a large order as a group order, we got a significant price break, if you will, by purchasing as a group. So I reached out to, there was 5 other departments that I reached out to, and Springfield Township, Independence Township, ourselves, and Orion Township all have the exact same packs, are in the same boat. Actually, Independence is in a little worse shape than us as far as time frame. But by doing so, we got a significant price break through the vendors, and I submitted in the pack the 2 different quotes that we received. And as a result of that, we are going to be the host department for the primary, or I don't want to say fiduciary, because what they've agreed to do is actually provide each municipality its own invoice for their share of the purchase, but they're going to deliver everything to us. They have to have one source, so we took that role on, and again, like I said, we saved about 11% off the price. And the bigger thing for me is the fact that in doing this and being able to research the different opportunities through the manufacturer, while we had budgeted almost $400,000 for this in our plan, it's only going to cost us $67,000 at this time. So that's a huge savings. We still are going to have to replace the air fill station, the actual compressor at our station, probably in this coming year in 25. But still, even at that, that's going to be another $40,000 to $50,000. So we're looking at spending a little over $110,000 to $120,000 compared to the $391,000 that we had budgeted and planned for as a result of what we were thinking we needed and did need if the manufacturer was not going to continue making the cylinder and the components for our system. So big savings for us in the big picture, in a great scheme of things, I should say. So
Thank you.
Good job.
I move to approve for the Oxford Fire Department to purchase 50 self-contained breathing apparatus cylinders and 15 self-contained breathing apparatus masks with protective bags, the amount of $67,867.50 from the November 6, 2024 Municipal Emergency Services quote number QT1873415.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Thanks, Chief.
thank you, and again, thank you for the support of the village.
Okay, item 12, board members in your packet tonight, Sharp Engineering report detailing all the activities and projects in the state they're in the township. I know you took the time to read it. Do you, any of the board members have a question regarding any of the projects? Hearing none. Stephen, file it. Okay, thank you. Item 13, unfinished business, Cedar Long Tan Lake Special Assessment District, resolution number 4. Clerk Wright?
Board members, this is the fourth and final resolution for the approval of the Special Assessment District for Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake. In your packet is the assessment roll. Considering approval, these are the numbers that will be approved, and they will be put on the tax roll. Treasurer Fryer, this will be on the 2025 tax roll, I believe, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
This year's the last year, the
Yep.
last one.
So, and this was the opportunity to come at the public hearing to protest anything on the roll. So it was basically what you had in your packet to do the protest on.
That's one question.
Yes.
Curtis, this was initiated by our residents, correct? It's not initiated by us.
Correct. Correct.
So they came to us wanting this.
That's correct.
We didn't force it on them.
Based on the petitions that were signed by the majority of those that are within the SAD district, yes.
I move to approve resolution number 4, confirm the special assessment roll for the Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake Special Assessment District, and approve the special assessment roll attached as Exhibit 1 to resolution number 4 to implement aquatic weed control specific special assessment district program for Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake.
Second the motion.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Fryer.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 13B, CDBG suggested funding for 2025. Treasurer Ferrari?
Board members, in your packet, you had a list of projects. I mean, the one project we suggested funding for this year. Usually we've allocated monies to a couple different things, but talking to Habitat for Humanity, they've got 46 applicants needing money for block grant for mobile home and home repair. Usually we've had about 3 to 5 be able to keep up, but I guess the need's really there now. So, I mean, I would suggest allocating everything there until we get that caught up. I make a motion that the Oxford Township Board of Trustees to allocate as 2025 redevelopment block grant CDBG funds in the following manner: $30,647 for the mobile home and home repair program for mobile homes within Lake Villa and Parkhurst that is administered through Oakland County CDBG. The Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees authorize CDBG Coordinator Joseph G. Ferrari to prepare all necessary documents, authorize Supervisor Jack L. Curtis sign the 2025 annual CDBG submittal, 2025 subrecipient agreement when made available, and the conflict of interest certificate on behalf of the township.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions?
I do.
Yes, Trustee Charles, what's your question?
Mr. Ferrari, what's the process for folks that want to apply for one of these grants?
Habitat for Humanity handles it for us.
Pardon?
Habitat for Humanity handles it for us. They call them up, and then they get all the qualifications, and they get in line.
So how is that communicated to our residents?
We send, that's why we got 46. Habitat for Humanity reaches out to both of those two communities.
How do they do that?
They go flyers, and they go through the park. You go through the park management to let people know this is available.
So they pass out flyers in the park and they give it,
Correct.
they
That's
get
how they
command of
do
the
it.
park and the park is management.
I think that's why we have 46 people on the waiting list.
Well, that's why when I read that, I thought, well, that's a lot of people compared
yeah.
to previous years. Okay, so.
I think they're making more of a concerted effort than our previous vendor did.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? And if you would, please speak into your mic so that the recording can be heard. We are live streaming this on YouTube, so speak into your mic clearly, please. Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 13C, American Rescue Plan Act Committee recommendations. Clerk Wright?
Yes, board members, there was a change in the law, and it was pointed out by Attorney Ellis that we need to reallocate some American Rescue Plan Act funds.
Try it now.
Does it work? A little better?
The green light has to be on, so
It's
make
on.
sure your mics are on.
Sorry, my mistake, I apologize for that. But anyway, in your packet, board members, according to the state and local fiscal recovery funds, we have to have these projects tied to a specific contract, sub-award, or similar agreement by December 31st, 2024. And the reason why we are asking reallocation is because the monies for the Bradley subdivision of $180,000, that will not be under contract by the end of the year. So the ARPA committee has recommended in your packet to reallocate those funds. You'll see in the motion there of $97,600 to Stony Lake Park for the sanitary sewer project, $59,478.52 for Pollywood Trail improvements, $13,753.98 for Oxford Cemetery paving and tree removal, and $9,167.50 for Oxford Township Hall parking lot improvements. So that just gets rid of those monies. Then these are all subject to legal review as well.
I move to reallocate $180,000 American Rescue Plan Act funds previously approved at the August 9th, 2023 Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting for the Bradview subdivision future sanitary sewer project to the following projects: $97,600 for Stony Lake Park sanitary sewer project, $59,478.52 Pollywood Trail improvements, $13,753.98 for Oxford Cemetery paving and tree removal, $9,167.50 for Oxford Township Hall parking lot improvements. These projects are subject to legal review to confirm they are permitted use of American Rescue Plan Act funds.
One second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Coleman. Any questions? Yes, Trustee Charles.
So what happens to Brad Dewey since we're taking $180,000 away?
We have to determine how to come up with that money because we can't put this ARP money under contract until after we determine where all the other funds are coming from.
So we'll have to take it from a different source.
Right. Yes,
To be determined.
to be determined.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Coleman,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 13D, amended
There's another part of this.
reallocation, item, I thought we did the item
There's another
I.
motion in here. I move to reallocate American Rescue Plan Act funds as follows: $16,460 for proposed fire station number 3 project to the Pollywood Trail for trail improvements, $2,337.50 from legal fees for the Pollywood Trail for trail improvements, and $1,053 from the drinking fountain for the Helen Smith Park project to the Pollywood Trail for trail improvements.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Any questions? Yes, Trustee Charles.
Mr. Wright, you're on that committee, is that correct, Pollyanna?
Yes,
That is
he is.
correct.
Okay. Can you give us some ideas of what these improvements might be?
Improvements for Pollywood Trail?
Yes.
Pollywood Trail? Yeah, the Pollywood Trail is 16.9 miles, and we run on about an $80,000 a year budget. And what we're looking to do is use these fundings for basically trail resurfacing of the funding. This will be all predicated on an agreement that will be drafted by Attorney Ellis that I can take to the Pollywood Trailway Management Council to actually get an approval to be satisfying the requirements of ARPA funding. And not only that, it'll be basically probably some tree trimming that will go along with that, and also some other improvements, and potentially some design work for intersection work that will be required by, I guess, Oakland County Road Commission for the most part.
Yes, sir.
Has there been any discussion in that committee to improve the safety along West Strainer Road near Chirco? Where the Pollyant Trail crosses West Strainer, it's a very dangerous spot, and there's nothing to warn pedestrians that traffic is not required to stop.
If you're referring to the flashing signals,
They're not there anymore.
they're not there, and the reason why they're not there is because we couldn't find replacement parts for them.
Okay, but my question is not that. My question is there anything to be done to warn pedestrians about the fact that traffic does not stop?
We are looking at putting up signs approximately, I don't know, 100 feet or more that indicate that cross traffic does not stop. They're not there yet, but they're in the works, and this is part of the improvements that will be utilizing the funds to make that happen.
And just so to know, I mean, I see it because I drive that road repeatedly every day. It's a very dangerous place because people walk right on the middle of the road, assuming that traffic stops, and it is not required to stop. So thank you for taking action on that.
Well, you have several intersections that are potentially dangerous too. I mean, granted, Bordy Street's 25 miles an hour, so that situation.
Well, I'm talking about West Drainer.
But if you look all the way down the trail, you've got several areas, like George Road, for example. People drive 55 on a gravel road.
I think the question was answered. Joe? Roll call?
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes,
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Now we can get to,
One more.
One
I'm to
more.
reallocate Oxford Township Cemetery Wall Restoration Project expenses from American Rescue Plan Act funds. Allocate the Oxford Township Cemetery Wall Restoration Project expenses. The Cemetery Maintenance Fund account number 209-276-811.000 restoration.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin, and my ink pen is now back in the right spot. Okay, here we go. Any questions? Roll call?
Trustee Colvin?
Yes,
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
I'll get there.
You ready for that one now, Michael?
Board members, we need to amend our L 4029. Actually, the voters approved 5.25 mils for fire operating services. So we need to ratify that. I make a motion, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees authorize Supervisor Jack L. Curtis and Clerk Curtis W. Wright to sign the approved and amended 2024 Oxford Township L 4029 tax rate request with the additional millage to be levied and collected December 1, 2024, a general property tax on all real and personal property within the township upon the current tax rule. A voter authorized millage of 5.25 mils, fire operating, EMS, and ALS.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call?
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Colvin?
Yes,
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Okay, item 14A, board members, attached for your review in the packet tonight was a resolution to approve the deputy supervisor appointment and salary. This resolution has approved the township's current executive assistant to the supervisor, Danielle Smith, will be appointed to the position of deputy supervisor. I'm seeking to appoint Danielle to this position of deputy supervisor effective January 1st, 2025. Danielle will be holding her current position, title, and duties, performing the duties of the executive assistant to the supervisor, and additional duties which will be assigned on January 1st, 2025. Under MCL 41.61, paragraph 2, the township supervisor may appoint a deputy supervisor who shall serve at the pleasure of the supervisor, and the deputy shall be paid as a township board determines. This means that once I make the selection as a deputy, it falls on the board's discretion to set and approve the deputy supervisor's salary. If this resolution is adopted, Danielle Smith's appointment as deputy supervisor would carry an annual salary of $71,000. If appointed, the deputy supervisor is required to take the oath of office and file the oath of office with the township clerk.
Let me make a motion for you to make the motion.
Okay, I move to approve the resolution to approve the deputy supervisor appointment and salary and authorize the township clerk to certify and file the same.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Curtis, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Charles.
Could Attorney Ellis address some of the things that the deputy supervisor can and cannot do?
Sure, I will come up and do that for you.
That's why I asked her.
The deputy supervisor can essentially step into the shoes of the supervisor and undertake any of the statutory duties of the supervisor. In addition, she'll be assigned job duties, and we're going to be working on that in the next month to better define the role, and that will be before this board in December. She is not able to sit on this board and vote. However, in the event that Jack was unavailable due to death or disability, let's hope not, she could undertake those duties and step into the role.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay. Item 14B, sign application request. Township board members in your packet. Bill, I'm gonna mispronounce your last name, and I know you know it's not happened before. Come on up to the podium. Bill Razakowski, owner of the Message Center billboard at 1245 South Lapeer Road, would like to convert the existing billboard to electronic messaging sign. Attached for your considerations, a summary from the township planner. I do and have been requested to read a letter dated November 13th to this board. Attention, I think it would be a great service to the community if you would allow AdRate to replace their old sign with a new up-to-date sign. The footprint would be smaller, more aesthetically pleasing. I feel it would be a great fit with all the new building and developments going on in the area. Thank you, Mr. I can't say his last name because Hoppinger? Anyway, 600 Sanders Road. I read it into the record. Board members, in front of you in your packet is all the information, especially the summary letter from Township Planner Mateo Pasalacqua. Board's pleasure, questions?
I move to grant conditional approval of the application to convert the existing billboard located at 1245 South Lapeer Road, electronic message sign, EMS. This conditional approval is based on a Colorado Ordinance summary letter dated November 13th, 2024, noting all conversion application requirements. The approval is subject to the following conditions. 1, improvements to the existing supporter pole be made to improve its aesthetics via paint or other similar coating. 2, the waiving of the height requirement of the new sign based on the existing height. And 3, the applicant must submit all necessary permit applications and obtain the required permits from Oxford Township for the EMS sign.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Yes, Clerk Wright.
Mr. Zakowalski's here. Just wondering, once you do get your approvals, when will you start to put your sign up?
Oh, right away.
Right away.
Sure. Yeah, we can get on it.
Thank you.
Bill, or
Yes,
Good.
Treasurer, Trustee
Charles.
Yes,
C-H-A-R-L-E-S. It's more difficult than his name.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
ask
go
me
ahead.
the question then, since we're being
Okay.
that prim and proper.
Eddie, I just want to say, if you could pass on a thank you for him for pursuing this, and I think the new sign sounds a lot better than what's there already. Plus, it's got to be easier to change the sign.
Safer too.
Safer and easier, all those kind of good things.
Thank
So,
you.
so tell him thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
No, you're very welcome. No, it does. It gives a lot of benefit to the community. Us too. Churches, events, celebrations will happen flawlessly. And you know, as the public service announcements are always a part of life because the township has lots of stuff that happens. If they have some content on hand, they should submit it or get it ready. If we have downtime, it will play automatically. There'll be a system in place to have that happen. besides the Amber Alerts and the other things that we'd be hooked up to the FEMA control.
Super, Bill. Thank you very much.
Sure.
You've done donations of the sign time for other people climbing up there in all the cold weather, and it's happened. So we have a motion on the floor. Call the roll, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks again.
Item 14C, master plan funding request. Board members, attached, you found a letter from the Township Planner, Megan Masson-Minnick and Mateo Pasalacqua notifying the board they are nearing the end of the allocated funds for the master plan. To ensure there are sufficient funds to perform the additional revisions, they are requesting this board to allocate an additional $10,000 for work related to the project.
I move to approve allocating an additional $10,000 to the Oxford Township Master Plan, bringing the total amount to $60,000. This $10,000 to be expensed to account number 101-701-801.001 Master Plan.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Charles.
These are the same folks that did the survey,
Yes.
which, just so you know, I was unimpressed with that survey. I think it was
Okay.
poorly constructed.
Is there a question in there?
Nope, just a statement.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Charles,
No.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, moving on, item 14D. Sushi Thai liquor license application. Board members, in the packet tonight, we have an application for transfer of a Class C liquor license, Sushi and Thai LLC. Board members, this is not a quota license. That's not a license issued to the Township of Oxford. Sushi Thai went out and purchased a liquor license from Auburn Hills and is bringing it to our community.
I move to approve the resolution recommending approval of the transfer of the Class C license and SDM license from Dimitri's Auburn Hills to Sushi and Thai LLC for their location at 955 South Lapeer Road, Oxford, Michigan, 48371, and authorize the township clerk to forward the recommendation to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission for consideration.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, item 14E. Congratulations and thank you. I'll get through this day. Item 14E, setting first reading for Parks and Recreation Ordinance 56.008. I don't see Phil here tonight, but this is just to set the first reading date for the motion, or for the public hearing, and the reading of the Parks and Rec ordinance. Is there anything we need to do except set the date?
If we want things removed, Brittany, is this the time to do it?
If you want things changed, it would be appropriate for the board to vote on that tonight and let me know, and that way I can make any changes needed before first reading. There can be changes made between first and second reading, but it would be completely appropriate to do it before the first reading as well.
Okay, so if we have, this board may have recommendations to the ordinance as written, so we would give them to you. But would we vote on those changes? If I differ from Treasurer Ferrari, or I differ from them, do we call a roll on these changes? How do we do that?
That would be preferable, because then I'll have direction from you tonight. What you would do is you would pass a motion to set the first reading with changes, and if the board generally agrees, you can do as discussed on the record, but if there is disagreements as to certain items, you could pass a motion to address issue, to direct the attorney to address issue XYZ before bringing back for first reading.
Okay, Treasurer Fry, I'll let you go ahead first.
I would like, so little on my eyes. I move to accept the recommendation, Township Parks Commission, and approve the first reading for ordinance amendment to Chapter 34, Article 2 of Oxford Township's Code of Ordinances, titled Public Conduct in Parks, and authorize the Township Clerk to publish same in accordance with state law. And the second set, what's that, is it set?
Treasurer Ferrari, I'm sorry, but there was two motions provided. One was to do first reading tonight, and the other was to set the first reading.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're reading the one to actually approve the first reading tonight.
Oh, so where's that earlier?
I think Clerk Wright has it.
That's what I don't have.
You don't have it? Do you want me to read it and I can pull
Yeah,
it
if you
up?
do that,
Okay.
please, I'll look for it. I could not find it.
All right, give me a second.
I apologize for being so unorganized tonight. My pen wiped out my,
Well, she's looking to ask you a question.
Be better than that.
yes. Who has a question?
I do.
Yes, sir.
So, I think what I'm hearing is that if we as a board want to make recommendations to Parks and Rec, we would submit that to the attorney, or what's the process?
We would talk about them right now before setting the first reading, if you have a concern with the ordinance. And someone may not agree with what you have, and then we would, if that were to evolve, we'd have to take a vote on having that amendment put in this ordinance.
So Parks Commission's acting as the recommending body. They've reviewed this ordinance as presented and they've recommended it to the Board of Trustees. But you are the legislative body, the approving body, so you can make any changes to that ordinance that you see fit.
So what is your thought?
Well, one thought is the parks, I know in the past, one of the thoughts in the past, non-township residents were charged a fee to go to our parks. Is that something that we should bring back? Because it seems that the township taxpayers are paying for a lot of people that do not financially contribute to the parks.
Provide history.
That's an issue that could be discussed tonight as an amendment. You do have a third option, of course, too, which is if there are significant changes or issues with the ordinance, you can send it back to Parks Commission to consider different issues. If the board's not prepared to make decisions on those tonight, they, operate the parks, so some issues that this board may feel that they're best suited to speak to.
I mean, that's, let me say, Jack, that's,
I've captured your concern for charge fee to non-residents. I want to see if there's any more out there. Do we have any more concerns?
I'd like to eliminate section 34 through 36.
What is those?
Alcoholic liquor controlled substances.
Okay, that would be number 2. Joe would like to eliminate alcohol, allowing alcohol in the parks.
So let me clarify, Treasurer Ferrari, the previous language of the ordinance just said alcohol is prohibited, period. So you wouldn't necessarily be removing that section, you'd be reverting back to that language.
Correct.
The new language allows for alcohol consumption in the parks, subject to somebody getting a permit from the township and providing the, meeting our insurance requirements. It's contemplated that would be for events. For example, if somebody wanted to hold a birthday party at one of our pavilions, they could come in and get a permit, and then they would have the right, after showing us that they had procured adequate insurance, to consume alcoholic beverages in that defined space. That is the proposed change recommended to you by the Parks Commission.
Okay. Any other changes that we notice at this board level? Trustee Colvin, Trustee Ferrari, Clerk Wright?
No, I think the two are
Those are pretty
pretty significant.
significant. Do we want to send this back and allow them to do it?
Let that debate.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to refer back the first reading for Parks and Recreation ordinance number 56.008 to the Parks and Rec Commission, addressing the two items that we've talked about, allowing for the possible application of just having the parks open to township residents, and two, the elimination of section 34 through 36, alcoholic liquor controlled substances.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari. I have a second by Trustee Charles. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay. 14F. Lieutenant Patterson is here. Additional expenses for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office substation. Board members, we are expanding our substation as we speak. Work is demoed out. Some of the walls are done. Right underneath you, 3 storage units are built, a kitchenette, a bathroom specifically for, but not exclusively for, absentee voter and voter training and training of whatnot. We have it sequestered down there. But what we found in our project is that we have $112,846.48 that were unaccounted for. These things include fire suppression, relocation of heads and lines. During the pre-walk, it was determined we had fire suppression in those areas. And during the construction phase, we've learned that we have to reallocate the area that they spray. And we had not included the cost of lockers, which is total to about $50,000. We have saved $14,000 on hardware, but the total amount we need to complete the project is mentioned at $112,846.48. To Mr. Charles, we still are saving over $800,000 from the previous bid specs, what we thought it was gonna be.
I didn't get a chance to ask my question.
I move to approve the allocation, $112,846.48, for the following items pertaining to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Oxford Township Substation Expansion Project, painting the entire substation, purchasing and installing lockers, and reconfiguring the fire suppression system. This $112,846.48 is expected to be expensed to account number 207-302-976.002 substation expansion.
Second the motion.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. Any questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. 14G, board members. Originally, we did not move any monies from the general fund to the MERS account when we did our budget. After talking with Raina Emmons from our auditing firm, Raina had noted to me that the projected funding level for the fire defined benefit pension plan was a little short, and due to the factors outlined in Auditor Emmons' email, I'm requesting the board contribute a lump sum of $150,000 to the fire defined benefit pension plan.
I move to contribute $150,000 to fire defined benefit pension plan as advised by Township Auditor Raina Emmons. This $150,000 to be expensed to account number 101-995-965.206, contribution to fire fund.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Colvin. But I want to make sure it's clear that Raina said that the money had to be moved before December 20th.
I'll send Lindsay an email tomorrow to make sure it's in our next run.
Thank you. All right, any questions? Roll call?
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Colvin,
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 14H, 2024 delinquent Oakland County roads resolution.
Board members, The Oakland County Treasurer gave us a list of items that we need to put on the tax roll for the delinquent roads for 2024. And hold on here, I've got a motion here, let me get that taken care of. I move to approve the 2024 delinquent road paving special assessment, the amount of $7,920.54, and authorize to be placed in the 2024 winter tax roll.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Fry and a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions?
No, I'm letting you go this time.
Thank you. See, hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles,
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Item 14J, committee assignments. Board members.
You got late fee, late fee for 1346 Queens.
Oh, yeah, we can't do that one, right? 14L. I'm telling you what, moving this agenda around, it's got me screwed up.
Yeah, board members, somebody made a request, this property owner made a request to the Water and Sewer Committee to have her fee for $50 late fee be waived. The committee looked at her request and decided that the bills were put out on time. And if there's any issue with that bill being late, it should be addressed with the local post office. I'll make a motion, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees authorize Supervisor Jack L. Curtis send a letter to the property owners at 1346 Queens Drive, informing them that the late fee incurred for their late sewer bill should be addressed with the local post office. The township mailed out the sewer bill correctly and on time.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin. Are there any questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, 14J. Wait, I did it right. Okay, committee appointments extension. Board members, with the conclusion of 2024 general election, we have numerous board members whose committee appointments expire on November 20th, 2024. However, there are committee meetings scheduled to take place prior to December 11th, 2024 board meeting, which is when the committee appointments are going to be proposed. For the township to continue business, I would like to extend the committee appointments through December 11th Board of Trustees meeting for the re-elected officials. A finalized list of proposed committee appointments will be presented for approval at the December 11th board meeting.
I could have gotten out of doing CDBG.
You could have.
I move to approve the extension of the current committee appointments for all re-elected officials to the December 11th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Colvin, Trustee Charles, I want that. Any questions? None. Roll call?
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Colvin.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, we had no items removed from the consent agenda. Item number 16, second chance for public to give any comments they have. Now would be the time. Just step up to the microphone for 3 minutes if you have a comment to address this board with. Now would be the time. I'm waiting. I thought I saw a young man here gonna come up and tell us what he's here for tonight. I don't wanna put you on the spot, but I know the spot. Gotta be some business. Yes, sir.
My name is Dylan Miller. I'm a part of the Boy Scouts of America, Troop 108, and I am currently doing the Citizenship and Community Merit Badge, and one of the requirements is to attend a township, municipal, county, some official meeting, such as this one, and I must take one of the proposals or something that is being argued and discuss it with my counselor on which side I agree with or disagree with and why.
Well, thank you very much for your service and good luck. Any other public comment made at this time? Seeing none, Board of Trustee comments? We'll start with Trustee Colvin.
I just want to thank the clerk's office and all the election workers for their hard work. It was I voted on the actual day, everything went very smoothly, and I think you all did a great job.
Thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
I want to second what Trustee Colvin said. I also want to thank the board for adopting the couple items on tonight's agenda so I can finalize everything for the winter tax roll.
Thank you. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, even though they're not here, for trustee Payne and trustee Knoll, I just want to give them a thank you for their service to the township board and to the community for their time they put in to serve us and to try to make Oxford Township a better place. And the only other thing is happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you. Trustee Charles?
Yes, big thank you to the clerk's office for the election. I know you guys worked diligently on that, and it looks like it was also successful. So I visited all 7 precincts myself, and I won't put it in for reimbursement, by the way, Susan. It looked to me like things went very smoothly.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Trustee Nold. Thank you to Trustee Payne. We appreciate their service over the past years, serving on committees. Some of them are done, some of them aren't. But tonight, I see we have our 2 new elected officials in the audience. I want to thank you for attending. Those of you who don't know, we have Dave Wagner and we have Jeffrey Amvet. I probably said that wrong. Amvet, yes. So they are here tonight to observe. I've been talking to each of them on the phone. We are going to have our swearing in, taking the oath on November 20th at 12 o'clock noon. We're going to have some lunch, a light lunch. Please tell me how many people you're having here, and we'll have enough food for them. The public is welcome. We're going to have the counters will be watched during the event should someone come in, but we're hoping to allow everybody in to witness the taking of the oath. The Parks Commission, the deputies, and the treasurer clerk and supervisor will all take the oath that day. You're all welcome to come and watch and participate November 20th at noon.
Jack, are they aware of the initiation they have to go through?
I was saving that for the 20th, that way they would show up.
I thought they might want to reverse or something.
No.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, stay here if you want.